Hey, race fans, Alex Weaver here. Welcome into another episode of Backseat Drivers. I'm going to be joined by Jonathan and Chase. Denny Hamlin, we know who's not invited to the family cookout, and it is tape because he gets the redemption. We see what a piece of tape can make a difference, whether you have a checkered flag or a championship, but he gets a redemption. Great. Gabe Hart is back. It looked good for the 11.
Yeah, all in all, I think the competition should be very worried. Denny is delivering, no pun intended. They're getting it done. It's a very relaxed Denny Hamlin, which we saw last year, and if it wasn't for that piece of tape, I think we'd be singing a different tune. I think he would have a championship, but a relaxed Denny Hamlin, a loose, fun Denny Hamlin is a dangerous Denny Hamlin on the racetrack, and that's what we have.
Well, I'm just glad that I was right for the first time ever on this show. I thought a JGR driver would win, and that ended up happening, and so I'm going to celebrate that little moral victory. But Denny is definitely the front runner right now. I mean, he's firing off on all 8 cylinders. He was the dominant car at Homestead, and he got the job done. And I think there was a little motivation there with what we saw on Twitter this week between him and Corey LaJoie. Just give him a little MJ shrug afterward. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, Merriman, how do you feel about him and Corey LaJoie on Twitter?
I like Denny and I like Corey both. I think we need these guys to show a little personality and to take jabs at each other. I mean, if you looked at the group chat that I'm in with guys from work, it's the same thing all the time. You just dog each other because, look, we're all locked up in quarantine and there's nothing else better to do. Earnhardt, Gordon did the same thing. Publicly, they didn't like each other. Privately, it was a different story. They wanted to sell T-shirts. We need more of this. And, as I'm sure we'll get to later in the show, there was a little bit more of this on track as well.
Yeah, Unrivaled Part 2, Corey LaJoie, Denny Hamlin. Well, you mentioned it, and you kind of alluded to it, that there has been a rivalry brewing for the last couple of weeks, and it's one that I don't think we mind because Joey Logano and Chase Elliott can say that the past is in the past, but not quite sure if it is. We saw Chase leading there at Homestead, looking like it might be the 9's trip to victory lane down there. Denny Hamlin was creeping up fast, but Joey Logano was lap traffic, already a lap down. And Chase had a hard time getting around lap traffic.
Yeah, the 22 was making himself pretty wide. Denny Hamlin comes along. Denny wants the top lane. Chase knew he could run the bottom. He knew Chase could run the bottom. He goes low. So I'm sure if you ask Logano, he's just, it's a racing deal. And if you ask Chase, it's just lap traffic. Neither one of those stories are true whatsoever. And the thing of it is, this is the second time we've recorded the show because I didn't record the last time. I screwed it up. So I said the last time we recorded it, it's a strange, weird love triangle there at the front between Joey Logano, who's two laps
weird.
down,
Even the second
Denny
time
Hamlin,
it's so weird.
who's had problems with both of them in the past, and Chase, who's had problems with both of them in the past. It's just weird. It's great for the sport. I'm glad they're not getting along. It makes me want to tune in. I don't think anybody's going to come out flat out wreck anybody, but I think this persists for the rest of the season.
I completely agree. Like you said, I think Logano knew exactly what he was doing when he was giving Chase a hard time. The only thing is that I don't think, regardless if Joey would have done that or not, I think Hamlin had him. I think Chase was just bait for Hamlin at that point, and Hamlin's going to win the race regardless because he had such a strong car. But besides that fact, yeah, Logano knew what he was doing, and also I loved how Chase didn't give us media any kind of bait whatsoever when it came to
I
talk
hate
about
that.
after race.
Call
I
him
it's Chase,
a
though.
butthole. You know what I mean? Just say something. Just not, it's lap traffic. Give me some emotion. I want to see somebody mad at the end. But
Chase Elliott is a veteran guy. He might be young, but he's a veteran guy. He's not going to. It's really hard for him to get all worked up. I like that about Chase, honestly. I mean, because that's not the full deal. It's not the real story, but he's still going to be calm about it.
Well, a guy who's not known to be calm when it comes to dealing with the media or giving his opinion on any matter for that is Kyle Busch. Hard to believe, guys, that I'm saying this, but Kyle Busch and the 18 team has a 0 in the win column for 2020. This time last year, Kyle Busch was the car to beat alongside with Denny Hamlin. So what's going on, and is it time to be worried for the Candyman?
I think I don't think it's time to be worried at all right now, at least. But it has been feast or famine for Kyle Busch. I mean, he's had 5 finishes, 15th or worse so far this season. But the times where he's finished really well, he's finished 6th or better. So it's either he's going to be really bad in a race or really good. But right now, I don't think it's a time to hit the panic button. He just came off a 6th place finish at Homestead. I know it's probably really getting to him because anything less than a win it sucks for Kyle Busch. Especially seeing his teammate Martin Truex Jr. win at Martinsville, seeing Hamlin win his 3rd race at Homestead. But right now, I think he's still fine. They're still bringing fast race cars to the track. Give me 4 or 5 races, and if he still hasn't gone to victory lane, then I'm like, you know what? He's behind his other 2 teammates.
My finger wouldn't be on the panic button, but the little plastic cover over the panic button would be raised, and I'd be ready to push. I think what we're seeing is with the 18 team is maybe the effect of the shutdown. Kind of got out of momentum a little bit being in the race car and wasn't one of the teams who just hit on it out of the box like Hendrick Motorsports, like the 11, like the 2 and the 22. I think that's what we're seeing. I would give them until Kentucky, and if things haven't turned around or we don't get a win within 1 or 2 weeks of Kentucky, then you start to not panic but be concerned. We know Kyle Busch is going to get a win this year. We know Kyle Busch is going to contend for a championship. He's that good. And I don't think, being winless this far is anything to concern about the performance. But where I would get concerned is, we talked about, a 6th place finish. That may as well be dead last to Kyle Busch. He expects to go out there and win. And when you just have those, decent runs, but you can't break through and get a win, but yet Denny's got 3, Martin's got 1, heaven forbid Jones wins first, I'm concerned between the ears because, but when Kyle gets mad, he also races a little bit better. It's more fun to watch. So, Kyle's going to win his fair share of races this year. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he rattled off 3 in a row.
Well, already been dominant in the Xfinity Series and in the Gainer Truck Series. Already has wins in both of those. So it's probably just a matter of time for the Cup Series. All right, let's turn the page to Talladega. We are headed to the great state of Alabama. We get 5,000 fans in the stands, back on the Boulevard, one of our favorites on the circuit that we race at all year long. So we're going back. What can we expect? Because it's going to be different. We haven't been to a super speedway since February for Daytona, which feels like it was basically 2019.
Yeah, it was. I mean, essentially, it was 2019 for all intents and purposes. Things were okay when we started the Daytona 500. I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I think this race has his name all over it. I keep going back to the shutdown. Before the shutdown, that team was trending up. They were running well ahead of where everyone expected, but then we come back at Darlington. He wrecks out on lap 1, and things just really haven't been the same. This is a place where he can come back. He's got to win. He can get his footing. He can set sail in that 47 car and kind of right the ship a little bit, put himself in the playoff conversation. A lot on the line. It's his home racetrack. I think, last time I called him the Mississippi Missile. I think that's going to stick. I think he's going to win down at Talladega.
I also said you were just jealous of the mullet, and that still rings true.
Extremely jealous of the mullet. My wife made me cut my hair. I was going to do the mullet, but it's not happening, and I'm extremely bitter about it.
I mean, how can you not be jealous of that mullet? It's a pretty nice little mane he has back there. For me, I think Ricky has a great shot too if he can be patient. He has to survive the race. And I mean, he has a strong 47 car. They've had speed. We've seen it, and he's going to be strong to super speedway every time. But if he can just be a little patient and be there at the end, I think he has a great shot to win. Another person is Matt DiBenedetto. Like, I think he's a nice dark horse pick. The 21's always strong at a super speedway, and I think he can get it done. And then also, if we're looking at a team like the Hendrick Motorsports cars, they're going to be strong. I feel like Chase Elliott's won at Talladega before. Alex Bowman's pushed him to a win. And William Byron, he's due for his first career win. He's right there. And then also another guy that sticks out to me is Ryan Blaney. They've been strong all year long. They've got speed in that 12 car every single race, finishing in the top 2 or 3. And then him and crew chief Todd Gordon, even though we've had the COVID-19 stoppage and everything, that hasn't stopped them from developing a great relationship in the first 12 races. And we could definitely see him get another win at Talladega.
I could see Blaney in victory lane. Todd Gordon puts together really, really slick super speedway cars, but I don't know. I'm not coming off that 47 pick. I think, Ricky's due for some new victory lane photos.
Todd Gordon's a Clemson Tiger, so I'm okay with that pick. All right, I'm going to throw a random question that I didn't throw at you guys the first time, and now that it's the second time, I'm going to punish Merriman since he was the one that messed everything up. But let's pick a champion right now. If you had to pick somebody right now to win a championship, I feel like I know who you're going to say, but let's do it anyways.
I'm going with Denny.
Shocker.
He said that last year.
Well, I mean, look, and he was a piece of tape the size of, my 2-story house from winning at Homestead. If it wasn't for that piece of tape, Denny Hamlin would be the champion. They're playing loose, they're playing fast. He's fast where he needs to be fast. I mean, he won Daytona, he wins at Darlington, he comes out, wins at Homestead. Phoenix reminds a lot of people of Richmond, which Denny's really, really good at Richmond too. So, Denny can't not win the championship this year. That's how confident I am.
I feel like saying that you're one piece of tape away from a championship is like saying you're 0.1 away from a mile. You still didn't run the mile. So, you can't claim that you ran the mile because you were 1 point away.
The thing of it is, the difference is the other 2 times Denny has been racing for a championship, Denny cost himself the championship at Homestead. Denny did not cost himself.
Team sport, Merriman. Team sport.
It is a team sport, and it puts the emphasis on that. But I think it's the total package. They've got the team, they've got the driver, and they've got a lot of momentum.
All right, Chase, who are you going with? Champion 2020.
You know what? I'm going to go with Chase Elliott. One, because he has a cool name. I'm very biased there. But also, he's been really strong all season long.
I think that's who you picked last year, too.
I did. And you know what? And last year was a little more of me going out, I don't want to say on a limb, because Chase Elliott, I mean, he drives for Hendrick Motorsports. He always has a shot. He's a great driver. But this year, I wish I wouldn't have picked him last year. And because this year he looks really strong because he's been consistently up at the front. And we haven't seen that from the 9 team as much in years past. So I think him and Gustafson really have something going this year. They have a lot of speed in that 9 car. So I'm more confident this year to say he could be the champion than I was last year.
He's blinded by chicken wings, man. He had Hooters last night.
I mean, I
all right. Well, we are headed to Talladega this weekend. It's going to be a good one. We're heading to that super speedway. Always a fun one. Always a party down there in Talladega. 5,000 fans are back in the stands. Merriman, I'll have Dega send you their media center pork chops so you can enjoy those on race day.
Catfish and ribs too. Send it all.
You got it. All right. Tune into that Sunday, 3 p.m. on Fox. We'll see you guys right back here next time.